1번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
Creativity is a step further on from imagination. Imagination can be an entirely private process of internal consciousness. You might be lying motionless on your bed in a fever of imagination. And no one would ever know. Private imaginings may have no outcomes in the world at all. Creativity does. Being creative involves doing something. It would be odd to describe as creative someone who never did anything. To call somebody creative suggests they are actively producing something in a deliberate way. People are not creative in the abstract. They are creative in something in mathematics, in engineering, in writing, in music, in business, in whatever. Creativity involves putting your imagination to work. In a sense, creativity is applied imagination.
2번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
Shutter speed refers to the speed of a camera shutter. In behavior profiling, it refers to the speed of the eyelid. When we blink, we reveal more than just blink rate. Changes in the speed of the eyelid can indicate important information. Shutter speed is a measurement of fear. Think of an animal that has a reputation for being fearful. A chihuahua might come to mind. In mammals, because of evolution, our eyelids will speed up to minimize the amount of time that we can't see an approaching predator. The greater the degree of fear an animal is experiencing, the more the animal is concerned with an approaching predator. In an attempt to keep the eyes open as much as possible, the eyelids involuntarily speed up. Speed, when it comes to behavior, almost always equals fear. In humans, if we experience fear about something, our eyelids will do the same thing as the chihuahua. They will close and open more quickly.
3번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
We have already seen that learning is much more efficient when done at regular intervals. Rather than cramming an entire lesson into one day, we are better off spreading out the learning. The reason is simple: every night, our brain consolidates what it has learned during the day. This is one of the most important neuroscience discoveries of the last 30 years. Sleep is not just a period of inactivity, or a garbage collection of the waste products that the brain accumulated while we were awake. Quite the contrary, while we sleep, our brain remains active. It runs a specific algorithm that replays the important events it recorded during the previous day, and gradually transfers them into a more efficient compartment of our memory.
4번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
Our world today is comparatively harmless. We don't have to be careful every moment that a tiger is behind us. We do not have to worry about starving. Our dangers today are, for example, high blood pressure or diabetes. To be clear, we have a Stone Age brain that lives in a modern world. Because of this, many situations are considered a threat by our brains, although they are harmless to our survival. In the past, danger meant we either had to flee or fight. If we have an appointment but are stuck in a traffic jam, that does not really threaten our lives. However, our brain considers this a danger. That is the point. There is no danger, but our brain rates it as such. If we have an unpleasant conversation with our partner, it does not threaten our lives, and we do not have to flee or fight. The danger is an illusion. Our Stone Age brain sees a mortal danger that is not there.
5번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
A child whose behavior is out of control improves when clear limits on their behavior are set and enforced. However, parents must agree on where a limit will be set and how it will be enforced. The limit and the consequence of breaking the limit must be clearly presented to the child. Enforcement of the limit should be consistent and firm. Too many limits are difficult to learn and may spoil the normal development of autonomy. The limit must be reasonable in terms of the child's age, temperament, and developmental level. To be effective, both parents and other adults in the home must enforce limits. Otherwise, children may effectively split the parents and seek to test the limits with the more indulgent parent. In all situations, to be effective, punishment must be brief and linked directly to a behavior.
6번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
It has long been held that the capacity for laughter is a peculiarly human characteristic. The witty Lucian of Samosata 2nd century A.D. noted that the way to distinguish a man from a donkey is that one laughs and the other does not. In all societies, humor is important not only in individual communication, but also as a molding force of social groups, reinforcing their norms and regulating behavior. Each particular time, each era, in fact, each moment has its own condition and themes for laughter. Because of the major preoccupations, concerns, interests, activities, relations, and mode prevailing at the time. The ultimate goal of anyone who studies another culture, such as ancient Greece, is to understand the people themselves who were more than the sum total of monuments, historical incidents, or social groupings. One way to approach this goal directly is to study the culture's humor. As Goethe aptly observed, men show their characters in nothing more clearly than in what they think laughable.
7번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
Although we don't know the full neurological effects of digital technologies on young children's development, we do know that all screen time is not created equal. For example, reading an e-book, video conferencing with grandma, or showing your child a picture you just took of them is not the same as the passive television watching screen time that concerns many parents and educators. So, rather than focusing on how much children are interacting with screens, parents and educators are turning their focus instead to what children are interacting with, and who is talking with them about their experiences. Though parents may be tempted to hand a child a screen and walk away, guiding children's media experiences helps them build important 21st century skills, such as critical thinking and media literacy.
8번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
In the movie Groundhog Day, a weatherman, played by Bill Murray, is forced to relive a single day over and over again. Confronted with this seemingly endless loop, he eventually rebels against living through the same day the same way twice. He learns French, becomes a great pianist, befriends his neighbors, helps the poor. Why do we cheer him on? Because we don't want perfect predictability, even if what's on repeat is appealing. Surprise engages us. It allows us to escape autopilot. It keeps us awake to our experience. In fact, the neurotransmitter systems involved in reward are tied to the level of surprise. Rewards delivered at regular, predictable times yield a lot less activity in the brain than the same rewards delivered at random, unpredictable times. Surprise gratifies.
9번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
The cultural ideas spread by empire were seldom the exclusive creation of the ruling elite. Since the imperial vision tends to be universal and inclusive, it was relatively easy for imperial elites to adopt ideas, norms, and traditions from wherever they found them, rather than to stick to a single rigid tradition. While some emperors sought to purify their cultures and return to what they viewed as their roots, for the most part, empires have produced hybrid civilizations that absorbed much from their subject peoples. The imperial culture of Rome was Greek almost as much as Roman. Imperial Mongol culture was a Chinese copycat. In the imperial United States, an American president of Kenyan blood can eat Italian pizza while watching his favorite film, Lawrence of Arabia, a British epic about the Arab rebellion against the Turks.